G'day, this is Captainoob, but this is an OSIPR, which means Overwatch Standard Issue Pulse Rifle. Now, don't look at me like that, it's not from the adult video genre of Overwatch. This is actually from a video game. It's from Half-Life 2. It's the Pulse Rifle from Half-Life 2, so we'll just call it a Pulse Rifle from now on. It's got custom sounds, it's got custom animations, and I think it's been pretty interestingly done. We'll talk about that as we get to it, but for now, we'll check out some of these attachments. So right now, we've got a standard automatic receiver. This thing can only be automatic. We can pump that all the way up to powerful automatic receiver, which gives us a mild increase in damage. 102 and 75 ballistic and energy damage respectively is not too bad. It's a pulse rifle, so it's going to be firing a hit scan projectile, which is going to make it good over range and fairly consistent to aim, so quite happy to have it like it is. Right now we've got a standard barrel. We can accelerate that barrel to increase the range. We can vent that to get the recoil, or have best of both worlds. Better recoil and better range. Perfect. Next up, we can reduce the recoil even further by just changing some of the numbers around. There's no actual attachment that goes in here, unfortunately, but we can put a recoil compensating stock to reel in that recoil even more. And we can increase this thing's capacity by doing this. So boosted overcharge pulse plug will give us an exceptional ammo capacity and an overclocked loading mechanism. That's basically your large capacity magazine with a quick eject function. That's all that is. So that's basically your modifications for the magazine. You can't do anything with the sights, unfortunately. Probably not a super huge problem. The sights are pretty good from what I've tested. Legendary effect is also there if you need it, and just ignore this one. That's a Creation Club slot there. And there you have it. Let's talk about getting this thing and getting the ammo. On your chemistry workbench, you'll find Overwatch equipment, and that subfolder you'll be able to craft the ammunition, the weapon itself for a fusion core, copper, aluminium, gold, plastic, or steel, and also it's got this alternate ammo type and an alternate fire thing. So that's a thing you can place in your inventory to switch on any time. It'll transform this weapon from shooting pulse ammo into antimatter charges. Now, this thing is going to be extremely powerful with those antimatter charges, but you'll be paying for it. 2 fusion cores, 10 gold, 10 plastic, 10 copper, and 10 aluminum. Yes, that. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to make all of this. We're going to drain our fusion cores on this one. And we'll also get some pulse ammo as well. This one will cost you plasma cartridges and fusion cells, along with a smaller bit of aluminum and copper and gold. Here's a fun little tidbit for you. So when you craft your normal ammo, you get 120 per singular craft. And the same thing appears to have happened for the toggle alt fire version of this. So I've just got 120 of those in my inventory. Love it. Righto, so here we are outside of the Immersive Gunners Plaza, but we've recently had a head crab infestation around these areas, and the head crabs have taken over in the form of Commonwealth Gunners. So welcome to the Immersive Head Crab Plaza, and we've got to use our Half-Life 2 pulse rifle to clear them out for a Gordon, I think his name is. He's a mute. Something about Portal, there's a reference there. I've seen memes. I know very little about Half-Life, other than there wasn't a third one made, and there's also a silent protagonist, and there's head crabs in it, and that's all I know. But the pulse rifle, it looks like this in first person. When you fire it, there's like a little firing pin that happens. It's easy to see in third person, but you can see that sort of pokes on the plasma cartridge here and makes the thing fire, which I think is fun. And when you reload, it just pushes that cartridge that's lodged in the barrel aside and puts in a new one. You didn't have to do anything. This is probably the easiest reload Carla has ever done in her life, and I think she's enjoying it. That's a winning smile right there, sponsored by Colgate. Anyways, so whilst we've got this thing here and it's loaded with the standard ammo, there's no recoil. There's a little bit of spread happening. Easy to see in third person, but apart from the aim jiggle, this is going to be very easy to aim and fire at, and the reload being as short as it is, it's going to be pretty decent for getting a very good amount of sustained DPS, because it's just easy to hit stuff with it. There's no recoil. But if you switch over to the version with the big old bombs, the plasma ball of death, it makes a plasma grenade sound when it explodes and hits something. So it's only a very small explosion, so you won't be able to nuke like 10 gunners at once with this thing, but provided you place this particular round in a good spot, this thing will do a ton of damage. Just 1500 ballistic on that, so don't shoot it near yourself because you will die easily. Also, I think That is a laser musket charge up sound for a reload there. That's interesting. The only problems I've had with this weapon is when I change back to the standard version, it hasn't done it here, but sometimes it'll pick up the firing delay of the version with the explosive antimatter charge, and if I try to burst fire this thing, there'll be a significant pause after I release the trigger until I can fire again. I'll point that out if it happens, but so far, that has not been the case. Anyways, we'll start off shooting some of these turrets, and then I guess we'll get into the gunners proper here, and there's a lot of gunners standing very close to each other, so far be it from me to look this gift horse in the mouth. There we go. So it looks like it's a one-shot kill to whoever he hits, so provided we can get guaranteed hits on these guys, I'd say we're in a position to get a whole lot of good killing done very quickly here. There we go. Is it worth the 2 fusion cores? Maybe if you've got a bunch of people gathered up very closely, but in order to thin out these ranks, I think it's a good idea to at least give this a little bit of a run out whilst a lot of these gunners are sort of gathered around. Hang on, there's a mantis over there. Okay, we've crashed, but that's fine. We'll start again. All right, a fresh reset. Not even a crash will make me stop killing the head crabs because they're a big danger to humanity or something. That is a bad stagger from a Gustav there, and I think I just shot directly into that, into that bollard, but I didn't die from it, which is great. And we really got to thin out these ranks here. There's a trigger delay. I think I've got it now. I didn't have it before. It is here now. There we go. I think that was a 3-in-1. That's good. And we're kind of low on health already, but honestly, this is the easiest way of running this thing. So I feel like with these shots, it's a costly miss. Like 2 fusion cores isn't nothing. And especially if you're playing on a survival game where those things are like heavy too. So it's kind of odd. Anyways, let's shoot some people a little bit with the standard plasma version. Some crits for this guy. There we go. There's a grenade there. And okay, maybe we don't take on these guys that much. We'll circle around and come back around a little bit later, but for now, these guys over here will take them out. Completely unaware of my presence, they were, but not now, of course. And now these guys... Actually, I think that's Nerd Rage. It's a little bit of an opportune moment. A lot of those... I feel like I wasn't getting a lot of those shots on despite the... I guess that might be the spread, but... I feel like the aim was true. Ooh, that's interesting. I think I've unlocked the secret rate of fire bonus, where if you aim down sights when this thing is firing... That's a vanilla game bug that just happens with a couple of other guns in this game, so I'll try not to exploit it. Not that I can really do that effectively anyway, but before that gunner takes off into the trees, we'll try to chop her down. And we're back into Nerd Rage again, so looks like we don't get the slowdown this time because the game's fussy with me. This one will be a kill. That's nice. And we've got 2 crits to utilize against this particular gunner. That's good. Any more? Number 2. That's a simple kill there, so we'll do that. I don't know exactly why I'm not getting another Nerd Rage, because I went over a 20% health. You get a little bit of health back on your kills with Nerd Rage at a higher rank of it, and maybe this is the time to switch back over to the explosive version. Ah, there you are. There we go. You can't dance around whilst you're on the fire escape, buddy. That's either up or down. Yeah, it's not worth shooting 2 fusion cores at a turret to kill it, that's for sure. But I've been pretty lucky in terms of these gunners not moving around. They've really sort of planted themselves in position that whilst this slow-ass projectile gets to them. So I suppose that's alright for me, not for them. I'm actually surprised on how little of an explosive radius this gets. Perhaps that's more reflective of what this thing was like in Half-Life, but usually Fallout, they love the big explosions, and that gunner's head was blown clean off from it. Look out. I think that's that bloody mantis again. We'll go ahead and crit that. There we go. I think I got the Mantis as well. Had to go through the wall there, so a crit was the only answer. Let's switch back over to our auto version. I think that's Destroy of Acadia happening because I'm getting a lot more damage than I was a little bit earlier. We got a cheeky little level up there, so it should be smooth sailing for the rest of this particular fight, but I don't think it's been a terrible weapon at all. As I take a missile to the chest, that's fine. Just walk that off. That's just a... Yeah, you might pull up a bit sore in the morning after that, but all in all, I don't think you'll be too injured from it. Go for a critical against that guy. We've got that gun through extra damage to bolster that. And I'm liking having these VATS tweaks in because normally I'm sitting on the criticals because it actually slows you down to execute the criticals because the camera's got to make a whole drama thing out of it. But if it's just press space over the shoulder look for criticals, then it's pretty awesome. And I think that gun is down there somewhere, down the fire escape. Yes, there you are. So for a weapon that can be like a grenade launcher and an assault rifle, I feel like this is a pretty decent thing. And if you've got a bit of nostalgia for Half-Life 2, then I think this will be right up your alley.
Yes.
Maybe that... It's a pretty bad blind spot of mine to never played Half-Life, because that's like a certified hood classic, am I right? So maybe I should play that one day. And with hardware like this, running Fallout 4 at Ultra with A and Bs with over 60 FPS, just kidding, we're capped at 60 here, that I feel like we're good. Also, classic holstered weapons, it does work, but there's just a little bit of clipping right down Carla's spine there. She's got a pulse rifle lodged in it, but she seems to be fine regardless. Alright, time for a true damage test, and for those at home, count how many fusion cores I use here, and that's 4 already. That's a mythic Deathclaw. I missed. Let me just get you in the... that'll do. Hell yeah. That's another couple of fusion cores down the drain for that. Is it worth it? Who knows? And the game is not calculating exactly how much damage I'm getting properly because that extra 1500 damage-ish, that's all from the explosion itself. I'm only getting about 150 for those direct hits, which is... It'd be nice if it was like a 50-50, half and half sort of ratio on them, you know? Ouchies. Who'd have thought being crushed by an anchor that was already big before you got enlarged would be so hurtful? We might be able to utilize Nerd Rage here if we need it, but we just gotta... Okay, there it is. I thought that one last thing would kill me. That rock might, though. Nope, not quite. Just gotta seek that headshot. Oh boy, I missed. Bad miss. There we go. A little bit unpredictable, but you get 4 shots in VATS with this thing. It's unfortunate you can't put a reflex sight to further enhance the VATS approach to this particular weapon, but I guess that's going to be true to the version in the game, and a couple more for good measure. Alright, let's find a monster and kill it with the normal version, but I might need backup, so hang on, I've got a plan, don't you worry. Alrighty, so here we are outside of Vault 111. We've got our backup in the form of Winter, and it's at night now, but there's a little bit of lighting when it comes to these rounds, so we didn't really get to see it during the day. So here we are at the night, and we'll start off by shooting this roach in the face. Full sucker punch, and end with a critical of the VATS variety. But this guy's pretty gnarly, so we gotta make sure we stagger him as much as possible. The more rounds we get in, the more chance this guy staggers, and if he's not attacking us, he is, well, that's good news, because as soon as he gets near you, rad roaches attack really fast, and especially if he's mutated, we will just jump on you and nip at you, kill you like 4 hits. Go for a critical here. Not really what I wanted. Kind of wanted a nice little stagger out of that. But now I got to run around, make sure this guy doesn't nip at me. Like that. Okay. I think we've dodged him for now. That might give me time to regroup. I'll jump over here. He won't be able to path to me. And quickly before he comes back, pick up Winter. It was a giant rad roach, Winter.
Heads up, they went dark.
It is pretty dark out, but I think we found him. We'll go for a critical there. That's another 94 burst there. Which is getting so much more damage than I. Probably because she's not hampered by the very hard difficulty, but glad to have her with me. And can we kill the roach? There we go. I think Winter did most of the work there. There's a little bit of glow maps when it comes to using this weapon, which you don't really see during the day, but if I look down the barrel during the dark, it sees some pretty glow lights there. So a lot of effort has gone into making this thing look genuine, look alive, because it's a energy weapon. It's meant to have lots of glowing bits, unless it's a fallout energy weapon. They're not for show at all, but I do think it's a well-made weapon. It's a fairly balanced weapon. It's not going to be like shooting everything and killing all of Immersive Gunner's Plaza in 5 minutes kind of powerful, but I feel like for a weapon of its type, it's sort of more of a balanced approach. And even the incredibly powerful antimatter rounds, that costs you 2 fusion cores, so you'd want to use those sparingly under normal circumstances, and their explosion radius is nowhere near the size of, say, a Fat Man explosion, so there's very little utility for massive crowd control. So it's a weapon that is powerful, but it's sort of measured sort of down. It's balanced. I think that's how I'd describe it. Despite being a pretty drastically overpowered round in one shot, the costs and efficiency of it just really isn't going to make it sort of super endgame potential. But anyways, if you'd like to see this thing in your game, check out the link in the description, and it'll be down there. And, you know, there's a Winter Companion mod on the Nexus, and she's on the Bethesda.net as well. The pushing mod is different though. I saw the prompt and I did it. I don't think she's too mad. No, that's definitely the cold shoulder. Anyways, so yeah, link in the description if you want it. Thank you for watching. See ya.